and welcome to my review of the Bar Mills Scale Modelworks Potter's Pub model kit for the Model Railroad line. And this is actually taken from what they call their Kandi Village series as well. And what I've actually been working on here is the Potter's Pub, which is, I suppose you would say, the main building from the three. The purpose of this little video is just to give anyone who's actually been interested in kits from Bar Mills just a little bit more detail in terms of what you can expect from inside the box, what you can expect from building the kits. So it's not so much a how-to video in terms of building the kit, but it's really more my thoughts about how I felt putting the kit together, why I put the kit together in a certain way, and hopefully this is helpful for you as well. So before I begin, just a little rundown. So this is something that has taken me probably between a week to about 10 days to put together, and on the whole I am quite pleased with how this kit has actually come together. There are a lot of little details that I've added, a couple of advertisements here with the weathering that are not in the original actual box. So please be warned that the figures, the chimney, the little details that you see are mostly from Woodland Scenic or other manufacturers, and they've just been added to them to kind of add to the level of details that you get from the pub as well. Now, going into building this kit, I've actually done quite a few model kits from Bar Mills. One of them, for example, is the Babcock boiler. So this is something I put together a little bit earlier, just to give you an idea. And then I think a slightly smaller kit here as well. So there is, without a doubt, Bar Mills makes really nice kits that go together really pretty well if you follow the instructions, pay attention to all the details and plans. You should be in a good space. Having said that, I found that the Potter's Pub is probably the most challenging kit to put together, in my opinion, so far. So let me take you into the box here, and within this Potter's Pub box, you actually see it's actually a series of 3 buildings. So you have the Potter's Pub here, you have a secondary building here, and then a third one here as well. And part of the reason why I wanted to build this particular kit was after putting together so many buildings where they were relatively low in height, I just had the yearning to try and put together something tall, that would stand out and give some nice height to the layout as well. And when you open this box, you can see that it really comes together nicely, in a sense of they've actually given you the different bags from which this is the roofing material, and then separate bags for the separate buildings that you put together. And obviously the third one has already been opened. That's the Potter's Pub as well. What I'd also like to say is that they've even taken the trouble of giving you a separate sheet that will give you additional information in terms of just how to put shingles together, how to put wood shakes together. They really bother to give you this level of details in terms of craftsmanship to help you model and weather your kit together as well. But having said that, here are a couple of things I think you should also be aware of, because their level of instructions, which is beautiful, by the way, full color, thick manual here. However, their level of instructions aren't probably as traditional as you may think of from other manufacturers, in a sense of there isn't really step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If that's something you expected, if you've put together kits from other manufacturers or even Tamiya model kits, they do give you very good guides, very nice building plans as well, and they go into some great detail in terms of advising you about how important bracing is, especially when you're doing wood kits. How important bracing is for making sure that your buildings, your wood material doesn't warp as well. So that's really something which is really pretty useful. However, having said that, there are a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention, and to be honest, some things I wish were highlighted in the building itself when they were putting it together. Now, this is probably just going to be me and my fault, but when I was going through the instructions, when I was going through the pieces as well, there were a couple of critical points where I just felt perhaps a little bit more advice would have been a little bit more useful, and I'll tell you what I mean here. When you look together at the plans for the 4 walls, you notice that 3 of the walls are actually full height pieces, but the 4th one here actually comprises of 2 main pieces that comprise of the 6 windows you see here, as well as the really complicated structure that you have to build here as well. Now, I just wish that there was a little bit more care or warnings when you were writing these instructions to actually let you know that this particular 4th wall is not made from 1 but 2 pieces. So getting them aligned and getting them strong as a structure is perhaps a little bit more of a challenge, and not something, you know, someone who's less seasoned may initially take to pretty easily as well. The second thing I'd say about this part here is this is a pretty difficult piece to put together, and you can see from the instructions here, they do try to go into some details in terms of how you should put them together, but I kind of just wish they've given me a little bit more hints, because this is actually an adhesive part that you actually glue together. That you take the sticker tape off and then you put them together. However, the advice I would give to you is to not follow that, and actually to just put them into place on the base and then glue them together. Because what actually happens is, if you follow the adhesive, you glue these 2 pieces, 17 and 18, together, and then you try and force them down, you really get quite a hard time with the windows sliding all around you as well. And to add to that complication, you know, just the stress of putting this together, if you actually take a look at the actual building and you actually take a look at what I've done, I've actually put it in the opposite direction. You know, and that's just to share it with you. There's nothing I could do once everything was in place already as well. It looks kind of okay, you know, but it's something where, you know, were I to do it properly together as well, this is probably something I'd probably call my attention to a little bit more as well. The third and final thing is that, just in terms of, I don't know whether the instructions were outdated or, you know, the parts just kind of didn't match as well. If you look at all the windows that I got from the set, the windows don't actually match the number of window panes that you're actually supposed to have. And after counting and double counting and triple checking and everything, I realized that it wasn't a mistake on my part. It really was the fact that the 2 lower windows require a slightly longer one for you to put into place in order to match the front lobby. But what actually happens is they're a bit too long, so you actually get this little bit of an edge. I know I could have cut it down, I just didn't really bother to do that. So that's really just sharing that with you as well. So this is just quickly my thoughts on this really nice kit from Bar Mills. Just a couple of things I wanted to share with you as well. You know, these were the original pieces that came with the kit, the Potter's Pub as well, Irish whiskey, the bar and grills. But because this building is meant to lean over to the other 2, they actually left this as an open space, but I would probably be using this as a standalone piece. So I just printed out more advertisements, you know, from the web, took them down, weathered them, made sure they fall into place nicely. And then the whole back of this, the only thing they actually give you is the door. So everything else has been added by me in terms of the detail parts and things like that as well. The roof is totally different. I believe they actually wanted the user to actually put in shingles. But after a few tutorials and looking at, you know, some of the other things that are going around now, I really wanted to actually try something different with tar paper. I tried tissue paper at first, it didn't work, but I really wanted to give a sense of, you know, a hotel or pub that has seen better days, and a roof that's really on the verge of falling apart and people trying to put it back together again so that the guests don't all leave. And that's kind of like the effect I tried to go here as well. So hopefully this is useful for you, because I don't actually see many reviews online that actually dive into the actual build kit from Bar Mills. But once again, this is the Potter's Pub from Bar Mills. It's part of their Kandi series. I thoroughly enjoyed the build. It was pretty challenging at times, like what I said, but again, well worth it, well worth your time as well. I believe the whole kit for all 3 buildings is about US $99 on your website. Occasionally they have some discounts going on as well, and you can look forward to that. Thank you.